All right, let's get right into it. If you're running an online store in Cyprus, or even just thinking about it, you've got a huge decision to make. It's a real battle of the titans, Shopify versus WooCommerce. So which one is actually the SEO champion for your business here in Cyprus? I mean, which one is going to get you found on Google and, actually make you money? That's the big question, and that's what we're going to answer today. And look, you really can't underestimate how critical this is. This isn't just some small tech detail. Seriously, the platform you go with could be the one thing that decides if you're on page 1 of Google or buried on page 10, where, let's be honest, nobody's ever going to find you. We're talking about a choice that directly hits your wallet. Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about the e-commerce SEO challenge itself. Then, we'll size up our first contender, Shopify. After that, we'll look at WooCommerce. Then comes the main event, a head-to-head comparison. We'll also zero in on the Cyprus local SEO factor, which is super important. And finally, we'll give you the final verdict. Ready? Let's do this. Okay, first things first, let's just set the scene here. If you have an online store in Cyprus, getting found is, well, it's everything. SEO, search engine optimization, it isn't just some techie buzzword. Think of it as the lifeblood of your store. It's what brings people in the door. Without good SEO, you might as well be invisible. All right, in this corner, we have our first contender, Shopify. You've probably heard of it. Shopify is like that sleek, all-in-one solution. It's super famous for being easy to use and for getting you online, like crazy fast. But the real question is it any good for SEO? So Shopify's big selling point is all the stuff it handles for you, right out of the box. You get these clean, mobile-friendly designs, and Google absolutely loves that. It also takes care of the techie stuff, like your SSL certificate. That's the little padlock that tells customers your site is safe. And even some structured data, which is basically a way of telling Google exactly what you're selling. And because Shopify controls the hosting, the speed is usually pretty great. That gives you a big leg up on those core web vitals, which are super important for Google rankings. But, and there's always a but, right? All that simplicity comes with a price. One of the biggest complaints from SEO pros is the URL structure. It's really rigid. You can't get rid of those /collections and /products parts in your links. That might not sound like a big deal, but it can really limit how you structure your site for Google. And if you want to get more advanced, yep, you'll probably need to pay for extra apps. Okay, and now for contender number 2, WooCommerce. Now, this one's a little different. It's not its own platform. It's actually a plugin that you add to WordPress, which, as you probably know, runs a huge chunk of the internet. If Shopify is all about simplicity, WooCommerce is all about one thing: control. When you're using WooCommerce, you are in the driver's seat. We're talking full control over everything: your URLs, your meta tags, you name it. And you get to use incredible SEO plugins like Rank Math or Yoast, which let you tweak and optimize every single part of your site. This is perfect for creating super targeted campaigns, like for different cities in Cyprus. Okay, but you know the saying, with great power comes great responsibility. All that control means you need to know what you're doing or have someone who does. Your site speed, that's on you. It completely depends on your hosting provider. And all the updates, the security stuff, yeah, that's your job too. It is definitely a more hands-on, roll-up-your-sleeves kind of platform. All right, we've seen the fighters. We know their styles. Now it's time for the main event. Let's get them in the ring and go feature by feature on what really matters for SEO. So before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let's just nail down their core philosophies, because it explains everything. Think of Shopify as leasing a beautiful, fully serviced apartment. It's ready to go, everything's taken care of. It's all about ease and speed. WooCommerce? That's like buying a plot of land and building your dream house from the ground up. You have total power and control. Okay, let's run through this chart. As you can see, both platforms let you do the basics, like customizing your meta titles and descriptions, no problem there. But look at that next line, URL control. This is a huge one. Shopify is limited, while WooCommerce gives you total freedom. That's a massive win for WooCommerce if you're serious about SEO. Then you've got things like structured data and image optimization. Shopify has it built in, which is easy. WooCommerce does it with plugins, which means more work, but also way more power. It really comes down to this. Shopify gives you managed hosting and moderate flexibility, while WooCommerce is self-managed but gives you maximum technical power. Okay, that's the general stuff. But let's bring it right back home to Cyprus. How does all of this translate to local SEO? Ranking for customers right here on the island. Which one does it better? Well, here's the honest answer. Both can get the job done. If you want to create different pages for customers in Nicosia versus Limassol, or add your local business info so you show up on maps, both platforms can handle the key tactics for local SEO. You're not really at a disadvantage with either one on the fundamental. But there is a little nuance here, and it's an important one. If you're a business owner in Cyprus and you're doing everything yourself, you don't have a tech team, then Shopify's It Just Works approach gives you a bit of an edge. It just makes putting those local SEO pieces in place a little bit easier and faster right from the get-go. All right, we've looked at the pros and cons, we've seen them go head-to-head, we've even talked about the local Cyprus angle. So it's time. Let's wrap this all up and give you the final verdict so you can make the right call for your business. Okay, for one type of person, the choice is honestly a no-brainer. If you live and breathe SEO, or you have a developer on your team and you want to be able to control and tweak every single detail, then yeah, WooCommerce is the hands-down, undisputed champion for you. But hey, what if that doesn't sound like you at all? If what you really care about is just getting started fast, not having to worry about security or hosting, and just having something that works, then Shopify is an absolutely solid choice. It gives you a really strong SEO foundation to build on. So in the end, it really all boils down to one simple question for you to answer. What's more important for your business right now? Is it the managed simplicity of Shopify so you can just focus on selling? Or is it the total control that WooCommerce gives you so you can perfect every last detail of your SEO? The right answer depends entirely on you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.